Do you think F1 is a goal for you?
Yeah, I think it's still a goal. It is my goal in 2 years.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Track Limits podcast presented by Formula Addict. I'm your host Swish. I'm with my co-host Henny. Today we have probably one of the most resilient and inspiring drivers that at least I follow, Juan Correa. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you guys. Very, very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
How you doing? You doing well?
Good.
Yep.
I mean, very busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a
Season's about to
pre-season, going to Bahrain in about a week already for the test.
Right.
So it's very crazy and hectic right now, but that's how I like it. So I strive in these moments. Yeah.
I appreciate you making time for this then.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man, I think we've been following each other for a few years.
Yep.
So we actually, it's the first time we met in person, but I was really hyped that you did this and that you invited me. So thanks for having me.
That. Amazing. Well, like you know, Juan, our podcast is broken up into 3 sectors. There's Q1, where we're going to talk all about racing related questions. Q2 are more like professional, but also personal, trying to get to know you as a person. And then Q3 is our favorite, the rapid fire round. We're just going to, barrage you with a bunch of questions and see how fast you can go in terms of answering them.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
We need a purple sector.
Yeah, we need purple.
You need me to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
You ready for Q1?
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's go.
Perfect. So I think the first question is just pretty easy. Summarize in about 30 seconds. Summarize your career thus far. Like some of the accomplishments maybe you're the most proud of right now.
Yeah. So I started racing when I was 7 years old in Quito, Ecuador, which is where I was born.
Yep.
Won 2 national championships in Ecuador. Moved to Miami by the age of 11 with my family. Began racing in the USA. Kept scaling up. By 2013, I won the national championship in the USA in karting. And later that year, I won the world championship in karting.
Right.
So that's one of my most proud accomplishments. And that's kind of what then led me to Europe. So I signed my first professional contract in Italy. Started racing karting over here. And I've been here ever since, scaling up from karting to Formula 4, then GP3, Formula 2, 2019, then the crash. I had 2 podiums in Formula 2 in my first year, which was also very cool. And then I had the crash. I was out for 2 years. And now I've been back for the last 2 years, kind of getting back up the ranking, and now in Formula 2. So
nice.
That's pretty much it.
That's incredible.
Thank you. See you.
That's the end. Thank you. That's the podcast. What's the day-to-day life right now of like Juan right now? Like I know you mentioned it's really busy. What does that typically look like?
There's a lot of travel at the moment. So I've been going a lot to Amsterdam because my team is based nearby. So a lot of seed making. A lot of simulator, a lot of preseason meetings, and then when I'm here in London, a lot of training, to be honest. You were trying to... The season, once the racing starts, is so busy that you cannot really improve your fitness. You can just maintain. So this is the time when we make all the improvements. So it's really like sleeping, eating well, training, travel in between, and then get back here as soon as possible and train again. And there's also a bit of work with sponsors. We're still trying to close the final ones, get everything in place, get the suit done, get the helmet painted. So there's a bit of work.
The process there. And you said 1 week until you go to Bahrain.
For the test.
And, are you looking forward to this F2 season? Like, what are you looking forward to the most here? Because it's kind of your return, right? You were in F2, now you're coming right back in. Is there a different feeling this time around coming back to F2?
Yes. I don't even remember that well how I felt the first time because it feels like a lifetime ago. But I can tell you, like, I am a very different person than who I was back then before I'd made my debut. So I think I'm much better prepared. I'm very excited, not only because I'm getting back to F2, but also because the calendar, the championship is sick, right? We have 14 rounds in some of the best tracks in the world. We get to travel to like 4 different continents through the year. I mean, it's pretty cool. And F2 is really, it's growing just as much as F1 is. It's really becoming an established category, and it's kind of like living the dream in a way. So I'm very excited.
And what's your goal for this season? Is it podiums, wins, championships, or just trying to get back into it?
That's a good question. In my mind at the moment, I want to get podiums and try to win a few races. I don't know if a championship run is going to be realistic on my first year back. And with Van Amersfoort, which is a team that is still kind of growing out of that midfield pack, you know, we have potential with the team. It's making a lot of strides, but it's going to take some time, and it needs some work. Right. But we will see. You know, sometimes in these categories, maybe we arrive to Bahrain and we win the first race, and then the tone changes. Maybe we arrive to Bahrain and we're P15 and we're like, okay, we have some work to do. But the one thing that's a constant for me is I just want to see improvement through the year, both in myself and the team, and just always upwards.
And throughout your career, you know, you've always had different teammates. You know, how do you flip that switch with, you know, being a teammate versus you're competing with them and you want to win? What's that flip like?
And you like your teammate right now. I see, you know, you posted Richard. A few stories with him. He seems like a cool guy.
Richard and I go way back. So we've been racing together since we were 14, 15 years old. Right. And we did, I don't know if you heard the New Zealand championship, the Toyota Racing Series.
No,
So there's this winter championship in New Zealand. It's 5 weeks in a row over there.
Right.
And in 2018, we did that together in the same team. And we became very close because we were for 5 weeks traveling together.
In New Zealand.
In New Zealand.
That's like us right now.
So since then, we've been good friends. And I think your question is interesting because it's true, like racing is an individual sport and your teammate is your biggest rival because he has the same car, the same equipment as you. You need to beat him. But I think it also really depends on the situation. Like, for example, this year in the situation where with Van Amersfoort, where we're also trying to help the team and the team is looking at us for advice, we need to be mature as well and put you know, our rivalry aside and try to lift everyone up. And I think with Richard, I'm able to do that because we have a close relationship and we're both quite mature and smart. So I think that's going to be quite efficient for the team.
Has that always been the case with teammates though? Like, have you ever had a teammate where, and you don't obviously have to name people, but
name them right now.
Spill the beans.
We'll list them out right
from the worst to the best.
But like, you know, have you had a dynamic where you weren't able to be as comfortable with your teammate and couldn't put aside that rivalry?
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. I would say more often than not, that's the case. Like, and even I'm very good at separating. Like, I might have a teammate that I like and I respect as a person, and off the track we can go have a beer, right? But when I'm on the track, I'm gonna try to kick your ass, and I hope you do the same. You know, like it's just the dynamic, and it really at this level we've come so far that we have all sacrificed a lot to be here. We're not here to make friends and you know, to make the other person feel comfortable. Like we're kind of professional, and I would say being professional is you don't create problems for the team, but you're also not giving each other a hand. You know, exactly. That's kind of like the dynamic usually.
Yeah. Is there a retired, you know, driver or current driver on the grid that you take, you know, pure advice from, and what's that one piece of advice that you still carry on to this day?
So one of my first coaches when I was racing go-karts, when I first moved to Miami, his name was Jay Howard, and he was an IndyCar driver, a British guy living in the US. Oh, wow. And that guy taught me a lot, you know, and also back then I was fresh. I was a 11-year-old kid. I had a lot to learn. And, you know, he really made me tough, I think. He had that British karting mentality. Here, they're assholes. Like, we're in the UK right now. You come karting here, like, people will crash into you. Like, they'll intimidate you. And he taught me that. So I was always very aggressive. After that, I had a few mentors here and there. I think right now, probably the driver I'm closest to in that sense is Grosjean, Roman. Because we both live in Miami. He's kind of become a family friend with me. Cool. And we have the same sponsor, Step One, as well. So we do some things together. And with him, I cannot think of one specific advice, but he's always like involved and, you know, like he keeps me calm. But I would say I would do the same for him, actually. I'm sure he's going to see this and he knows what I'm talking about. Because sometimes he's like, hey, you know, I'm like, relax, bro. You know, it'll be fine. So we have a quite interesting dynamic, especially considering he's like 11 years older than me, 12 years older. So, but we get along well.
And then, you know, obviously, and I think you've talked a lot about this on, you know, other interviews that you've done, you know, obviously in 2019, you know, the accident that you had, I actually think many people would not bounce back the way you did. You know, I really do believe that, you know, one of the coolest parts of your story is just, again, how resilient and inspiring you are in terms of, you know, having a crash like that, which a lot of people might see as like career ending, and then coming back to where you were. I want to kind of walk you through like day one, for example, of the recovery process. Was there a feeling of like, not, you know, like you're not motivated, you were anxious, you didn't even want to like get back up to where you were? Like, was there ever a feeling like that, you know, going through the recovery process?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I went as low as a person can go, really. Like it was crazy. It was way more than a crash, no, I would say like than an injury of, if I tell you like a football player breaks his ACL, they tell him, you know, you're never going to be to the level you are. Like, that's a big hit because your career is on the line, right? Like, it's maybe over for you, whatever. For me, it went, I would say, a step further than that, where my life was on the line. And really, for the first few weeks, I couldn't care less about driving again. I just wanted to survive. Like that was, it was literally like survival mode. And it was just a big shock of how have I gone from being this healthy athlete who kind of had everything, you know, in life and health, and I could walk and I could run, to being in a hospital, you know, drowning in my own lungs with a bone sticking out of my leg, like doctors talking about amputation. It was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like this cannot be happening to me, right? Like it's something you see in a movie. So that was hard. And then slowly, you know, time makes you kind of accept the your fate in a way, and it's like, okay, I am in this situation. And I would say that's where my I don't know if mental strength or my mentality kind of helped me, in the sense of I was like, okay, either I can sit here and feel pity for myself and screw everything, you know, this is it, which would have been understandable. Or I can just kind of get on with it and kind of glass half full, and okay, what am I gonna do now, right? And I was lucky that I took that route, and I just started working on it day by day. And really, quite early on, I realized that I was gonna need a lot of motivation to get through the recovery process. Not even just to drive again, just to like be normal, human, you know, like, and be able to walk and whatever. And that's when I used the card of I want to drive again, because I knew that was gonna give me the motivation necessary.
And it scares you.
That's a fear. But I am like that. Like I need to see something that's like so big that it's scary for me to be motivated. If my dreams are like you know,
it's not worth it.
It doesn't really
motivate you,
you know, exactly. It doesn't make me feel like I'm doing something larger than myself. So I knew myself well enough to do that, and it really helped.
But did you have a support system at that time? Like, who was it? Family, friends?
Family, first of all. Like my parents were there at the crash.
How scared were they?
Oh, for them it was, I would say, even worse than for me, to be honest. Because one thing, like, for myself, I was like, okay, there was 2 moments when I thought I was gonna die, when I was going into the coma, and I was pretty chill about it, because I was like, you know, I did it doing what I loved, you know, I've lived a great life. But for my parents, you know, losing a kid, like, no, that was not nice.
It's the worst nightmare.
And that's what made me more anxious, was to see them, and I was like, I cannot die, because what are they gonna do, right? I cannot put them through this. So that was horrible. But then in the whole recovery part, they were crucial. Them, brother, sister, a lot of good friends, and a lot of, I would say, colleagues that were already working with me, like trainers, psychologists for the racing. They were with me through the whole process, and they helped a lot.
And did you feel like that the F1 community, or just even FIA community, helped with the recovery, well, whether it's to support you or give you the right people and the right surroundings for it?
If I'm honest, not at all. Not at all. No, I was alone.
Right.
Wow.
I had my family, my friends, my people, but there was zero support from the FIA.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Right.
That was pretty bad, to be honest. It was sad. It was sad because it really felt like I almost felt kind of used in the sense that, you know, when you're there giving a good show,
they're there.
They're there, right? And they're the first ones to benefit from that. And look, I don't want to get so much into it because it's a conflict of interest. I'm racing there again, right? But there was a bit of that feeling, and I'm just gonna say I was very, very lucky to have the people I had internally to help me. Because there was not the support system that
at that time.
That there should have been from the organization.
I feel like they changed it now.
I
feel like they changed it. They would improve.
I think they realized a few things from my accident. I've had a few conversations with them about it. Sometimes it's not easy though to change such a big organization. You know, they have a lot of things going on. But yeah, what I'll tell you is if somebody would have the same accident as I did tomorrow, I would be there for them like nobody was there for me, because I know what they would need and what is lacking. You know.
And then in terms of even on the driving note, like, how do you think, you know, you're a different, do you feel like you're a different driver now than you were before? Like, did that accident potentially change how you think about driving and your style around driving?
Yeah, I think style-wise, no. It's still me. I'm the same driver. But it changed really my my outlook on racing as a whole, because it changed my view on life a lot. One of the biggest things was I realized that racing is not everything for me in my life. I love racing. It's my passion. I've sacrificed for it. But I don't have that feeling like I used to do where, if I don't make it to Formula One, I will be miserable for the rest of my life. Now when I think about that, I laugh. You know, because I literally, I believe that. If you would have asked me this the day before the accident, I would have told you, like, it's that or I would be unhappy for the rest of my life. And that's crazy. And a lot of drivers feel that way. Once I had the accident and I came back and I kind of saw a whole different side to life through my recovery process. Now it gives me that freedom of like, I do this because I choose to do it, but I don't have to, right? Like I can do so many other things. And that's very liberating. And I think that then translated a little bit to the track as well, where I'm just a bit more mature. You know, I'm more at ease and I enjoy it more because I know it's a choice rather than it's a must.
And, you know, now that you've driven in F2, F3, F4, and you've done testing for F1 and endurance. Like, what's the difference between these cars other than the speed? What do you think is, and which one do you like the most?
It's a good question. So really, once you drive so many cars, you start to realize that it's all pretty similar. Like in the sense that it all has four wheels, it has downforce, it has power, and you just, as a driver, you have to put all those together and find the best formula to go as fast around the track. So a lot of it is like, I feel like some drivers sometimes overthink too much. Like, I'm driving a new car. Like, what I've learned or what works for me is like, fuck it, just brake late, go early on throttle, and send it in the fast corners. You know, it's like it's kind of similar. Then for sure, each car has its own little
perks,
things. You know, so for example, when I drove the Formula One. The first thing that surprised me were the brakes. Even compared to the F2.
Wow.
The F1 brakes were just a different level.
Really?
Yeah. The power, not surprising. Not, you feel a bit more, but it's not crazy. And And then the other thing that surprised me is how easy it is to drive.
Oh.
The F1 is,
Yeah.
first of all, physically, because you have the power steering.
Yeah.
So you're just like, you know, coming from F2, I was like, oh my God, this is great. And then just the car is so highly developed
Right.
that it's nice to drive. You feel everything a little bit more, it gives more feedback. So that was very cool.
Right.
It is definitely a car that you want to keep on driving. You don't want to get out of the F1.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes the F2, you're like, this thing,
Get
you
me
know,
out of
like,
here.
you're just fighting with it constantly. The endurance car, the LMP2, I would say is a little bit more like the F1 in the sense that first it has power steering, so it's physically easier. And you have to fight less with the car. A bit like the F1, like you're never really like oversteering or like kind of sending the car in, because the car doesn't like that. It likes to be treated nicely.
Yep.
Whereas F2 and F3, you have to treat them like they're
Yeah.
Let's blur that out. But you know what I mean. You need to fight it a bit.
Yeah.
F4, I don't remember. F4 is a bit of a
Blur.
It's almost like a hybrid between a go-kart and a formula. You know, like
Right.
you almost have no downforce, but
Yeah.
it's a good stepping stone.
You talked a little bit about even right now doing the simulator. Do you have a sim at home? Like, do you sim race at home or anything, or not really?
Don't.
You don't.
I don't. I'm
Yeah.
one
Can't
of,
sit with us.
Yeah, you can't join our league.
I am one of those drivers that doesn't really like the sim, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah.
We've been hearing that a lot
Yeah,
with
a
a
lot
lot of our guests.
Really?
Yeah. They're like,
I just don't think they want to drive with us.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
biggest
that's
thing.
it. They're just-
No. I promise. I used to have a sim.
Yeah.
I actually sold my sim from home 2 months ago because I never used it. It was in Miami.
Yeah.
And then I had one when I was living in Barcelona 2 years ago. I used it twice in the whole year.
Right.
So I was like, you know,
doesn't make sense.
why am I having this?
Right.
And I would be so happy if they would ban simming for
Really?
everyone. So I do sim because it
Yeah.
is a good tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, I'm talking like the professional sim
Yeah,
when
the
you go with a team, you're engineers, you learn the track, prepare.
Yeah.
I would love it if they would ban that, and you would just have to arrive to the track and
Yep.
cowboy,
Figure it out.
Yeah.
send it FP1 and see where you are. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So I have to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan.
Nice. Probably the second last question.
Yeah.
I know we've been holding you for a little too long on Q1. Do you think there's been talks right now with increasing the grid to more than 20 drivers? Do you think that's something that you would agree with, or you would like to just keep at 20 drivers?
F1 or F2?
F1.
Yeah.
F1. I think a few years ago that would have been a mistake. But
Why?
because there wasn't the market for more drivers, for more teams. But I think now there is.
Yeah.
Now there is. When you see how big F1 has gotten, mainstream wise, now it's mainstream,
Yeah.
and there's only 20 athletes at the end of the day in the whole world. When you compare it to NFL,
NBA.
MLB, and the NBA,
Yeah.
how many athletes are there? You know,
So many.
so I don't see why there couldn't be more, more people, more teams. It would also help with putting young talent in F1, because at the moment with 20 seats, it's very difficult to always put the talent that deserves to. You know, like you have F2 champions that never make it to F1, which should never be the case. They should at least get a chance to prove themselves, an opportunity, right? A year or two, whatever. So I think that would help. It's more of a, how do you shape the whole structure and have the team share the money? You know, it's gonna take some time, but I think we are heading there.
Right.
I think they announced now that they're gonna open 2 new entries.
2 new entries, but
For engine manufacturers, right?
No.
even
teams?
teams.
Yeah.
They can do that though. So we don't actually know if, like, for example, Andretti is in kind of the
like they're
front
gonna
runner.
open like a betting process.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Where you can request to
put
be
12
in.
teams,
and- But that's a step. That's a step forward. And I must say, with that, I really admire the FIA for taking that stance, because I know it's probably getting some backlash from some of the teams. But it's probably a good thing for the sport.
Marinade. Final question of Q1. Miami. You moved there recently, or like was that a year ago?
Miami? No. So 2011.
2011. Okay.
I almost grew up in Miami.
Oh yeah. And in terms of living there, like, do you love it? Like, I feel like also now with F1 having a racetrack there. Have you driven that track yet, or?
No, not yet. Not yet. I love Miami.
Yeah.
I love Miami. I always say I was born in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Lived in Ecuador as a kid.
Yeah.
But then kind of my hometown is Miami, you know, like I moved there. Also, Miami, it's kind of like the Latin America of the USA,
Yeah,
right?
it definitely is. Definitely.
So I speak Spanish, and I go to Miami and I speak more Spanish. It's very funny. And it has a huge racing community.
Right.
A lot of good drivers are in Miami. Now with F1, that's just getting bigger.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. My family still lives there. I have 2 younger siblings. They go to school there.
Nice.
Actually, my brother, shout out to you. He just started at UM in
Miami.
That's
awesome.
So very cool. So that's kind of where my home is, really, you know? And it's an awesome city.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's Q1. Henny, verdict?
That's a good green.
Yeah?
Green
It's a
sector,
green?
yeah.
Not a purple?
No, not yet.
Not-
Not yet.
oh,
My God.
okay.
That's too
He's
easy.
a bit of a stickler.
We're getting warmed up. I'll have a sip on my Red Bull.
Not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
Hide the label.
Awesome. Well, that is Q1. Stay tuned for Q2, guys. Welcome back to the Track Limits interview with Juan. Juan, we're going to now go into Q2, and this is where we want to dive a little bit more into you as a person. Now, you talked a little bit about, how young you were when you started driving. You said, 7, around 7 years old. Was this something, by the way, that you always wanted to do? Or was there like another occupation that you were considering, growing up? Architect, maybe, engineer? No?
Sim racing regulated.
Definitely not sim racing. No, this was pretty much it. So I come from a family that was very much into motorsports. No professional drivers, but fanatics. I grew up watching Formula 1 with my dad. And my dad actually raced a bit of motorcycles, like enduro, and motocross.
Yeah.
So when I was like 4 or 5, I started racing motocross myself. I never really loved it that much. It was just I did it because my dad was taking me with him. And then my dad started racing rally when I was 6, 7.
Right.
And that's how he met the motorsports community in Ecuador and got me into a go-kart.
Yep.
And that was really the first time that I did something that I was like, wow, like, this is awesome. Like, I want to do this.
Yep.
But I was 7. So, from that moment on, and already then I was convinced I was going to be an F1 driver. Like, I was like, naively, of course. But that dream kind of pushed me since 7 years old. So there have been other sports and interests I've had here and there, but nothing serious that could have replaced motorsports for me.
And then in terms of, obviously your job requires a lot of travel. You 14 different places, this year. It's going to be pretty crazy. Do you enjoy that? And, how do you also maintain work-life balance? Like, do you find yourself working too much, or, are you able to actually balance your time out with racing and everything else you want to do outside?
No, you cannot really find a balance, like a normal person type of balance, I would say.
Right.
Because it's 14 F2 race weekends.
Yep.
Plus a few tests.
Yeah.
Plus 4 races in endurance for me. Plus a few tests for them.
Sponsorship events, probably.
Plus maybe 6 or 7 sponsorship events.
Yeah.
Plus 20 simulator sessions. Yeah. I live.
Why did I even ask this question?
So there is a balance you have to get, but it all rotates around racing. It's more of a balance, like in between travel, sleep, train. You also need to have a little bit of fun here and there, see some friends, see family when you can. So I'm quite good by now at looking at a schedule and seeing what's feasible. How am I gonna be feeling on a Sunday night after the race? Will I want to stay there, maybe have a drink with the team, or do I want to fly and get some rest? So I kind of plan that in that way. But my life and my schedule revolves 100% around my racing. It's my full-time job.
And that's amazing. And what's that one recommendation you have to a kid that wants to, take this world of racing? And when I say recommendation, I want some you got to take this karting league. You got to use this.
Something tactical.
Very the top level.
Yeah, interesting. I would say the biggest thing I'm thinking of, if I could redo my career, what I would have changed, right? One big thing is you got to find people wherever it is you're racing when you're coming up the ranks, you have to find people that you trust, like a good manager, a good coach, and stick with them for a long time. But it has to be really quality people. That's one thing that I regret not doing earlier. Like, I changed people too much. I was a bit all over the place because my dad didn't know so much about racing. You know, we were kind of like discovering this world together as we were coming up the ranks. But it would have been very good for me, especially when I was younger, to have somebody I trusted travel with me, be with me with the teams, because there's a lot of things going on apart from just the driving. Sometimes you need a bit of counselor. That's a big one. What else? I would say, I mean, this is, I just sound like an old man when I say this, but like a grumpy old man. But a lot of kids don't realize how much you have to sacrifice for this sport. They see, you know, like being an F1 driver. Wow, it's so glamorous. You need to work your ass off, and you really need to be willing to sacrifice that much, especially when you're young and growing up. You will have no social life. You will not be a normal kid at school. You know, like it takes a toll. But if this is what you love, then do it. Why not?
Right.
And in talks with, you know, just diversity on its own in this in the whole Formula world. Do you think that the FIA and F1 is doing a great job at that? You know, we've seen that it's a very expensive sport to get into, and diversity doesn't play well with this industry. So do you think they're doing more with this, or what do you think they need to do more to get that in?
I don't think there's one solution to it. It is a very expensive sport, which unfortunately means that naturally there's a barrier, you know, to enter, and even more to like scale up. You know, maybe some families can afford go-kart races for his kid, but few families can afford a Formula 4 season, even less a Formula 3 too. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. I think the best thing we can do as a sport to improve that is grow the sport. If you grow the sport, there's more money coming in, there's more viewerships, it's easier to find sponsorship. If that's the case, then talents can actually rise because they're talented, because the money will flow in behind them, you know. Like I see a huge difference. For example, this year 2023, finding my budget for the season, way easier. Not that it was easy, but way easier than in 2019. 2019, you would go knock on a company's door and say, "Hey, sir, I'm driving Formula 2." They would be like, "What the hell is that?" You know? "Oh, you know Formula 1? What the hell is that?" You know, like they didn't know, especially me as an American driver. They had no idea. Now you go and say, "Hey, sir, I'm driving Formula 2." "Oh yeah, like Formula 1, Drive to Survive." It makes a huge difference. Right. And each time you see more and more kids that are finding their own budget in Formula 3 and Formula 2, and that helps. Like, for example, Richard, for sure. I get very well with him because we're similar in the sense that we find budget ourselves. We kind of use this as a business, and we grind it. And he's doing it all by himself. It's impressive. Wow. And a lot of it is thanks to obviously his hard work, but also the fact that the sport is growing. So that helps.
And what are your, by the way, honest thoughts about Drive to Survive? Did you watch the show? I mean, you watch it.
I love it.
You love it.
It's cool. I mean,
he's like, it makes money, so why not?
No, I mean, maybe unpopular opinion from my side in the racing, like the drivers, some of them don't like it. But I think if you don't like it, you're stupid, because it's the best thing that has happened to the sport in the last 20 years. 100%. So how can you know, for sure there are things that they can improve, you know, and sometimes a bit over dramatic, whatever. But if it sells, it helps us.
Do you know they just did one for tennis too now? Breakpoint that just came out.
Tennis
and golf.
IndyCar is gonna do one.
Really? I didn't know.
Yes, they're working on one. Okay. It was another sport. I don't know if it was NHL. That'd be or fun. Something. Because I mean, it's been a bomb. It's incredible. So no, I think it's amazing, and I actually enjoy watching it.
Right. I love that.
I do.
And then talk to us, like, you know, have there been moments where you've come out of the car, for example? I bet there have, where you were like, "Oh my God, I have failed at my job." You know, and I think every professional can go through those moments,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
What do you do to like reset and kind of pick yourself back up during those moments where you're like, I did a terrible job today?
Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah.
To always have that level of there's a word I'm missing, like
All right. Balance.
self-reflection.
Self-awareness. Yeah.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
Sometimes, kind of like emotions and ego get the best of you, and you're like,
Yeah.
the car is shit. You know,
Blame everything.
that's the first thing. Like, the car is undrivable.
Yeah.
So it takes a level of maturity and self-reflection to be like, no, like
Yep.
This
this was on me. Like I could have done things differently, and then it happens very often. I mean, it's very rare that you come out of the car and you're like, I did the best job I could have done. No,
Yeah.
So then it just becomes part of the process. Like, today I did a shit job.
Right.
Sorry guys, like let's work to make it better. At least that's my process. It's not like, oh, I did a terrible job, I'll do a better job. It's like, no, I did a terrible job, but why?
Yeah.
What happened? What could you have done better as a team to help me a little bit? What could I have done better? And it's kind of like a teamwork. But it happens often. Yeah.
Right. What other position do you think you would excel in if you're not a driver?
I think anything.
Yeah.
To be honest,
All right.
I feel like, I mean, not anything. Like I wouldn't be a good, probably not a good artist.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be good at music though.
Yeah.
I love music.
Yeah.
I would love to produce music.
You guys need to talk.
We got to talk.
You like music? I've seen it. I've seen the stories. I know nothing about it.
Amazing.
But I have a good ear, and I listen to music 24/7.
Same here. Yeah.
I love
exactly.
it.
Literally
nothing.
Really?
nothing.
That's
Bought
cool.
the machine. He's like, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
That's
4.5
super
months
cool.
ago,
Yeah.
just started.
Okay.
Yeah.
we should talk.
Debut album coming out soon. Water Swish. Let's go. Yeah.
Probably, I'm good at business.
Yeah.
I come from a business family, so I'm very business oriented.
Yeah.
What about within racing though?
Yeah.
Like if you weren't a driver, is there like team principal maybe or?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a leader, so
Yeah.
team principal, like a leadership role,
Right.
bringing people together, extracting the best out of the people.
Yeah.
And it's something that I've learned through racing as well. Because when you're with a team, you need to make the team motivated, make them happy to work with you, keep them organized, keep them, push them
Yep.
to be excellent,
Yep.
but not be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot about managing relationships.
Yeah.
Yep. And what are some of your hobbies outside of, racing? Like if you're just chilling for the weekend, what do you typically do? Love to learn a little bit about that.
So a lot of my time outside of racing is actually still involved with racing, with sponsorship,
Right.
PR,
Yep.
social media management. So it's kind of like running your own brand in a way,
Right.
because you have sponsorship commitments, you have contracts of like social media posts,
Yeah.
content you have to put out.
Yeah.
You're always trying to grow followers, engagement, like that sells. It's a constant battle of like reeling in money.
Yep.
And keeping the whole boat steaming. That's pretty much it. So
Yep.
that takes a lot of time. I love working out. Not I have to, but I do enjoy it.
Yep.
So I do it a lot. I like road biking. I like going out to the nature. And really the little time I have free, I try to spend with family and close friends, and kind of like live it as a normal person, and just get lost in being normal, and no cameras, no pressure. That's pretty much it. But I have very little free time at the moment. It's kind of like the most intense period of my life I've ever been in. Like it's really busy.
Right.
And do you think F1 is a goal for you, what do you think it's going to take you to get to that?
I have a pretty clear goal and a plan to get there. I think it's still a goal. It is my goal in 2 years. So my plan is to do 2 seasons of F2. And position myself to go to F1 after the second season. We know there are a lot of factors to that. Number one, results in F2. Number two, money
openings as well.
Openings and opportunities.
Yeah, yeah.
But that is kind of like my short-term goal at the moment. Like I'm looking at 2 years F2 and see where I'm at.
Yep.
But going back to what I said in Q1 about me realizing that F1 is not everything, I'm very relaxed about it. You know, like I'm gonna give it 100%.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, look, I'll find a drive somewhere else. I'll establish myself. Yeah. No, I think I would probably go to endurance or try to go to IndyCar or something, and you know, build a professional career there and try to be as successful as possible there as well.
Very neat.
My goal is not so much linked to a category, but more to I just want to be a world champion and be successful.
Do it at the highest level.
Yeah.
Yep. Love that. Final question for Q2, rituals, superstitions. Do you have any? You know, like we've had some drivers that are like, we always jump into the car from the left side. You know, do you have any?
It started as a comfort thing, jumping in from the left.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll tell you where it comes from. Karting, you have the engine on the right side.
Right.
So you should only jump in from the left. Otherwise, you can touch something in the engine.
Yeah.
And actually, a lot of drivers keep that into formulas. So I can only go into the car from the left. Wow. Otherwise, I don't know if it's a superstition. Now it might be because I'm so used to it that I would feel like awkward, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Apart from that, no superstitions, but just I have a very set kind of ritual on like race day, you know? Like I get into that, like this flow. First of all, I like to surround myself in race weekends only with people that are inside what I call like my performance bubble. So it's like my physio, my photographer, and maybe like my manager, and we're all like doing everything together, and it's just us, you know, like, and that you gotta be in the same wavelength, you know, like you gotta know how to be with you, because I can be pretty irritable when I'm in a race, like, you know,
it's game mode.
I'm like switched on, you know, it's tunnel vision, and then you know you wake up. You're feeling good, you eat well, you know, have a bit of fat, start hydrating, get on the good tunes, and you're kind of like hyping yourself up before the race. But no superstitions.
Fair enough. Love it. Well, that is Q2. Henny, verdict there.
Oh, it's a tough one. Should we give him, so we have a new one that we've created called Gurple, which is a mix of purple and green. So that means you're inching closer to purple. Okay. But I think Q3, he's got purple. He's gonna purple.
Yeah. Feeling good.
Let's do it.
All right. Rapid fire round coming soon. All right. Welcome back to the Track Limits interview with Juan. We're getting into probably our favorite segment, the rapid fire round. We'd like all your answers, Juan, to be rapid, full of fire. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. If you had to choose one track to race on forever, only one, which track would it be?
Baku.
I love Baku, by the way.
All right. So I'm about to show you a photo. This is a photo of you claiming a nice podium. And I'm going to ask you what was going through your mind when this happened.
I was like, hell yeah, baby. To the team.
This is when you were back in F3. You just came back after a crash. What was that moment like?
That was cool. That was last year in Sandvoort. It was my first podium back. So it was a bit of a relief, mainly like, we're here, you know, like it was very cool.
Neat. Do you want to pull out your phone? We have a quick question. Who was the last person you texted?
He's probably going to be like you.
My ex.
Oh, God.
It sounds worse than it is. We're friendly.
Lovely.
Like, how do we go from this?
I was like, wait a second.
Oh my God. What regulation change would you institute? Whether it's double points, reverse grid, what's that one that you would?
No sim racing.
No sim racing.
The one where you only had one flying lap for quali.
Yeah.
They one at a time, you know?
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. Which driver would you trust to drive you around the track blindfolded?
Him blindfolded or me blindfolded?
He's blindfolded.
And he's driving.
And he's driving. Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I think Alex Albon.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like Alex. He's a calm guy. I feel like he wouldn't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We've had people be like Daniel Ricciardo because
no.
if we were to go out, might as well go out in style.
No, with Alex we wouldn't go out. He would take it easy.
And then somewhere like Checo, because he did that
Oh,
whole thing in Mexico
where he like
blindfolded.
remembered.
And video.
Though, I will say this, and I posted this on Instagram, not to derail the combo, but a lot of drivers can do that.
Yeah.
A lot of I bet you can too, where you can kind of telepathically
Where the corners
remember
are
where the
coming.
corners are.
Of
And,
course.
right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a lot of
next
shit for that.
Yeah. The greatest driver of all time, in your opinion. Haha.
Fangio.
Oh,
Okay.
good one.
Yep,
Great
you
one.
never
Great
got
one.
that one.
Haven't got that one yet. Perfect. Love that. What are some non-negotiables you have for people in your inner circle? Like things they absolutely need to have.
Motivation.
Nice.
Number one, and commitment.
Great.
Nice. What is your daily car?
It's my daily.
Yeah.
Here, GLC 43.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice little
Love
car.
that.
Yeah.
What's the most overasked question you get?
How am I feeling for this season? How are you feeling for the upcoming season? Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Who do you look up to in the fashion world?
In the fashion world.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm very, very ignorant in fashion. I like. I don't know. Can I say a brand more
you
than
can say
a
a brand.
person?
Yeah.
One of my favorite brands is Dior.
Cool.
Dior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you rather DNF on race day or not make it out of quali? Like not make it out of the garage in quali.
Not make it out of the garage in quality.
In quali, yeah.
Yeah.
But still race.
Yes.
Yeah.
DNF is the
Yeah,
worst.
the worst.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fair enough.
What's one piece of F1 memorabilia that you would like to own or currently own?
I would love to have a whole ass car in my living room. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
On like the ceiling?
Hanging. Yeah. Any car, I don't care.
I love that. I love it. First celebrity crush.
Ooh.
Celebrity crush.
Yep.
Ana de Armas.
Dude.
Oh
same.
my gosh.
Literally same. Oh,
Anna, if you're
beautiful.
watching this, DM me, please. I'll take you out to
I
dinner.
remember watching Knives Out. I'm like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever
She
seen.
is
She's
insane.
She's stunning.
Yeah,
I
she's
love
very
it.
cute.
Yeah.
What team would you bring back into F1? Whether it's like BMW, Ford is back now, but
Lotus. F1
Lotus.
team.
yes.
Yep.
I was in their junior academy, and it was a cool looking car as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Most embarrassing moment you've had in a Grand Prix weekend.
Or not. Even if it doesn't have to be a weekend.
Is this what
Yeah,
I bring out
let's
the story? Okay, so last year,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was Veterans Day in the US, right?
Okay. Yep.
So I went to post a story,
Very nice.
Happy Veterans
Yeah.
Day.
Yep.
And I had a brain fart, and I said Happy 4th of July.
My God.
And I
My
posted
God.
it,
Oh, no.
and it was up for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was getting messages, and I was in
Yeah.
the gym or something.
Yeah.
And I see my phone and like 30 messages, and like one of my friends like, bro, why did you post
Yeah.
Happy 4th of July? I was like, no way, this just happened, and I erased it. So yeah, some people caught on, but yeah.
You better have a screenshot of that.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
I
putting
do.
that right in the
Yeah.
zone.
No, it was so bad. I don't know what was wrong with me.
Oh my God. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Transportation.
Nice.
It would make my life so much easier. I
literally every
hate
driver's
planes.
answer.
I hate travel. Yeah.
Yep. If not racing, what would you be doing? I think you kind of answered this, but
Yeah.
Probably working with my dad, some type of business.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What celebrity would be a great fit as an F1 driver?
Tom Cruise, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But that's probably everyone said that, right?
Actually,
No?
not.
Not
No,
that
No
many
way.
people. No.
I think we have only got that once, and then
Yeah.
we suggested it too.
Yeah, we were
And
like,
they
Tom Cruise?
"Oh,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
like he
Yeah.
looks like an F1 driver.
Yeah.
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 Perfect.
And-
Yeah. Share your
That's fine.
prediction for the upcoming F1 season. Who do you have for constructors and drivers?
I want to say Mercedes.
Yes, let's go.
I want to say like Lewis,
Yep.
Mercedes constructors.
Yeah.
good chance of Max and Red Bull, I think.
Competing.
Yeah.
More chance of that, but I want to go with Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last question of Q3. You're writing an autobiography on yourself. So which one resonates with you the most? We got the daredevil, the dream catcher, the free spirit, or the hardest worker?
The hardest worker.
Easy.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a purple.
That is a purple.
That is a
sector.
purple?
That's
Like
the
a
fastest
sector.
rapid
Look at
fire
that.
we've ever had.
No way.
Straight up.
100%.
Even with your story time.
Yeah.
It was
You
fast.
see?
Boom.
Awesome.
So final question, Juan. We wrap every interview with, in 30 seconds, tell us how you want to be remembered. What legacy do you want to leave behind? I know it's a tough question
know.
to
It's deep. Nobody has asked me that in my life.
Lovely.
Nice.
Yes, let's go.
Well, I think I want to be remembered for being the hardest worker.
Yeah.
That's really important to me.
Yeah.
But also being a good person. Like sometimes people get caught up in winning and making it and stop being a good person along the way and helping others.
Yep.
So honestly, I just want to be remembered for who I am because I think I'm a pretty cool guy.
Yep.
I'm easygoing. I love meeting new people. I love trying new things and exploring. And, I think a legacy goes much further than what do you leave behind physically. You don't have to leave a company or money.
Yep.
You can leave memories and people that were impacted by you. And for me, that's the most important.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you if they want to stay up to date with your journey on social media?
Socials,
Yep.
Insta, Twitter,
Lovely.
webpage. I'm gonna start my TikTok career this year. We're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be dancing?
Are
on
we
these
dancing?
TikToks?
No dancing. No.
Oh, darn it.
No, the dancing only happens at the club. But no, thank you guys. This
Amazing.
has been super cool.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys. We're going to link Juan's socials in our show description. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a review. And once again, feel free to check out our other episodes on tracklimitspod.com or follow us on social media. We will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.